a lot happened on the Diamond League front, and of course we had our kids, so I didn't do this pod last week, but it's
Yeah,
like
there was
it's awesome.
every other Diamond League.
Yeah, yeah, like it was like I feel like the US is like the best middle distance country in the world right now. Is that
Yeah,
like is it a crazy thing to say or no?
no,
For the men anyway.
I don't think so. I mean, especially, like, in terms of, like, depth, so, I mean,
Yeah.
I think you could argue, like, Cooper's the top 800-meter runner in the world, but I think you could argue that he's not,
Yeah.
but, like, in terms of if you took a top 3, I think you beat any other team's top 3 in both the 800 and the, 1500.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this soon, but Yared's been like
He's been
putting
lights
on
out.
like really well, but Hawker like had kind of he had an okay race result over the weekend, but apparently he took like a month off after World Indoors. So he like
Yeah, I watched his interview,
yeah.
um,
Oh, really?
yeah, and he just said it was hot, and he said he was fine and was sort of where he was at, and it just, like, shook it off with, like, this rust buster, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was weird seeing him run a 3K and then get beat by somebody I'd not heard of, so
It's kind of funny like as a top US pro, you kind of have options at this point of the season. It's like there's some pretty good domestic races. They're all in Los Angeles, like at this point, pretty much like every other weekend. And then the other option is like go to the Diamond League, go to Europe, wherever it's going to be, and like race the best in the world. And it's kind of interesting because like Josh Kerr is taking the route of like, let's run these like LA meets, run a couple 800s, and then like we'll go take
super,
on the
like, tuned
world
up.
later on, which like, they are good tune-ups for sure. So I don't blame them. So it's kind of
Isn't
the smart route to go.
Yeah, I and 'cause I but isn't this year USATF is putting together, like, a track circuit?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so.
And so
Yeah.
I think that's gonna help, especially, like, help accumulate points, I think, more than anything. And I think that's why they did the 2-day thing for the, LA Grand Prix. One day was technically the LA Grand Prix, the one day was, like, some I forgot what they called it, but it was some other name.
That was like a
Um
B day or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They kind of had like that 3K. It seems like they almost made it like around Cole Hocker. Like he was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
like I want to do a 3K to like break the ice a bit. Can we set one up?" And then people were like, "Yeah, I'll hop in it." So whatever. It's funny. But before we get into too much of that, let's talk about grandma's. So you're running grandma's marathon this weekend. How'd like the last few weeks of your build go? And then what are you expecting? Like if people are tracking you, like what should we expect? Like a halfway split that you want to go out in?
Yeah, last few weeks have gone really well. I think sometimes I mean, really a lot of times in my last 3 marathons, I think each of them I've sort of just not entered the taper in a great spot. Like going in Chicago in 2023, had some weird like back niggle coming into the taper, and then the marathon project just I mean nothing no niggles, but just sort of felt off. I think that's a common occurrence. But I really felt, honestly, felt pretty strong throughout this taper. I feel pretty sharp right now, so really excited for, yeah, for grandma's. Weather's looking to be pretty ideal. Wish it was a little cooler, but we're still looking at like mid 50s to getting up to like 63 by the end of the day. So yeah, pretty exciting. I think right now, race plan, I haven't really talked with Jacob specifically about it, but in my head, I'm looking for maybe 68:30 to 68:45 through halfway. I've
Nice.
had 3 attempts where I've come through right there. And I feel like I'm a lot more fit than I had been in the past. So instead of speeding that up, I'm just going to try to focus on making that more comfortable and then having a lot stronger of a back half than I have in the past. So
Yeah, and it looks like I'm looking at the weather. It looks like the humidity isn't going to be like anything like brutal Kentucky kind of summer stuff. So that's like the big factor I would say for sure is like how bad is the humidity going to be. So, and
yeah,
honestly, you've been working out really well even in on those like humid and hot days. Like I was telling I was telling Jacob yesterday, I was like, yeah, I feel like workouts have been going well, but like I am not anywhere. Like, dude, your workouts have been like next level for sure. You've had some gnarly long runs, so I'm really excited to see what you can do.
Yeah, I think even with the humidity, even if it bounces up high, as long as it stays like under 60, it's not going to feel as bad.
Yeah.
Uh, I think here, one thing that's been a little good for me is I usually go into work before I run, take like a 3-hour break from work at like 8 or 9 a.m. and then go do my workout. So even on some of the hotter days, I've had a little bit of acclimation just by getting out a little bit later and not necessarily trying to get out before the sun comes up. Um, so as much as I would like it to be upper 30s, low 40s, I'm pretty content with where it's at. And it's not gonna be too bad of a day. I'm just still praying for a tailwind, but if we get a tailwind, we might talk about full sending and just seeing what happens in the second half. But
Yeah, I think about I don't know, if you get like a perfect day, it's like you almost kind of like if you're that close to going out with like the trials group, but you get like a perfect day, then it's like, okay, maybe I go out 30 seconds faster and just see what happens, and maybe I have the day. There's this guy in Louisville, his name's Mike Darren. He qualified for the 2020 trials in Atlanta, and he like famously uh like I don't know, he tried like 4 or 5 times and he wasn't probably in shape the first like 3 times, and like all of those races resulted in like catastrophic blowups, like 12-minute miles walking at the end, and then finally one year at Indy he just like he put it together and had like the day. So it's you kind of gotta take that route sometimes. Like I think a lot of guys that kind of squeak in, like if I get in, I'm probably gonna run like somewhere between 2:50 and 30 and 2:15:59 to be
and yeah,
totally honest. And like that's gonna be like I will be on the start line knowing like there's a chance, but it's gonna be close probably. So
yeah.
I think a lot of the people that qualify, that's what it yeah, there's a lot of there's an element of risk in your qualifying race for sure for a lot of people that get in. So
Yeah, no, I think
um,
that's 100% what it's gonna be. I think right now, grandmas, we're not looking at a full, like, all eyes on qualifying. We really wanna get a good mark on the board just because I've had 3 races where I went out a little faster than I was probably in shape for and had really, really struggled in the back half. And so really just want to be able to feel confident and piece something together and then stack another block. And CIM, I think, will be a
yeah.
go out for it and like full send, hop in the group and just see where that takes me.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I always remember the photos at CIM of the OTQ packs, and it's like, yeah, like it's happening. I coach a couple female athletes that are going to go for it there, I think, and yeah, I'm excited. So hopefully, I'm not at the trials just as a coach and have an athlete, badge or whatever too. But yeah,
Yeah.
either way, I'll be there. So, and they just announced it's in St. Louis too, which is great. So
I know. I'm excited for that. Being
yeah, dude,
close, road trip.
that's money. So, and I think they released the course. It looks pretty cool. So, we'll see. I love a Midwest uh, trials. I think that's like so fun, and
Mhm.
I think the Midwest doesn't get to have many like huge events like that. Like overall, obviously, Chicago Marathon, but besides that, it's like there's not many like huge events where we get to see the top distance pros. It's usually like far East Coast, far West Coast a lot of the time. So yeah, it'll be good to be there within driving distance. Go, hopefully experience it for me and you, but at least go watch worst
Yeah,
case.
absolutely.
So we'll see. But anyway, so we already touched on Diamond League a bit. Yared won Rabat. He had the Dream Mile taken from him in Oslo. Did you see that finishing
I
photo?
did. He actually thought he won when he
Dude,
crossed.
I saw the photo. I thought he won too, but it was they got the same time, and well on the board it showed him I think winning. Like
Yeah.
he like
He
came up first, but
celebrated.
then upon further review, yeah, they said nope. Timothy Chariot won, so that was brutal. But also at that race, Cooper Lutkenhaus beat Wanyoni, who's like seen as the best 800 guy in the world, like the future world record holder, like probably. And Cooper Lutkenhaus won his second Diamond League, age 17, which is crazy. So maybe he's the next world record guy.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
thinking,
I think the way that Cooper is progressing, I remember, I think last pod we talked about, you're like, is the 800 gonna go down this year? And I was like, I don't to see it happening this year. But the way Cooper like is progressing just in confidence and like his ability to run with the top pros, like I think it could happen within the next with it like this year or next year. I think one thing you saw, I mean, he beat Marco Arop in the previous
Yeah.
Diamond League, which I think gave him a ton of confidence because one thing that he ran a lot different against Wanyoni was Cooper went at like 250 to go.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that takes a lot of courage, especially from a 17-year-old running against running in the Diamond League. But I think he's really getting a lot of confidence because he's racing well, and now he's willing to take a lot of risks, and he's really seeing those pay off.
I think it helps that he's like a pretty big dude because I think the 800, especially like the Diamond League, like super high level, it can probably get like a little like kind of argy bargy, like some arms, elbows, and stuff. And I think he's like big enough at age 17 where like he can definitely like kind of push his way around if he needs to in the races. But I think it's good too to have, I mean, he's got like good experience. He's run a lot of pro races at this point in his career already, but I think it is good to maybe like, I don't know. I wonder if he takes still like he's probably less experienced than a lot of the guys he's racing against. I wonder sometimes if like his racing strategy and stuff, like maybe it's good to not overthink stuff in the 800
Mhm.
too. Because I think just like try something, see if it works out. But I think yeah, for him, it's like you said, like he went with like 250 to go in that race. It's like maybe a lot of 800 guys like typically don't do something like that, but just like with his age and inexperience, like he was like, "Why not? Like, I feel good. I'm going for it." And he went for it,
Yeah.
and it paid off. So
And he's
it's
always
fun.
known. I mean, he's been a stud since he was in like 7th or 8th grade when he was running
Yeah,
152. And he's always known running at the front of races and competing for the win. So I
yeah,
think
yeah,
saw him get a little hesitant last year when he ran Worlds. But I think outside of that, he's always put himself in the front of races and competed really well. And I think that's sort of the style that you're going to see him being able to run with. He closes well every single time.
yeah.
And so I think if he's just in position, the final 150, I think it's hard. It's going to be hard for any of the top 800 guys to beat him.
I think the 800, there's a lot of different ways you can go strategy wise, and the classic like Dave Waddle race from like back in the day where he had like the ball cap on and he started like way behind the field right in the 800 at the Olympics, the American, and like ended up winning that race. But then you have on the other side of the spectrum, David Rudisha, like the true front runner, won through, gosh, in his world record, he won out. I want to say it was like 50 low or 49 high, maybe something like that. And but he was like a true front runner. So it's like you can kind of go to two different routes in the 800 because I think like someone like Nick Simmons, for example, like Nick Simmons was again like someone like Dave Waddle. He'd like come off the pace. I wouldn't say he would like in his time, like Dwayne Bang,
Mhm.
Dwayne Solomon, he was the front runner guy, and they always had great battles because Dwayne was like, "I'm gonna go out hard, to the twilight zone, try to hang on," and then Nick Simmons was like, "I'm gonna go mid pack and just like try to
Be
pass
even
everyone
slow.
late,"
Yeah.
and he had the best last 100 of anyone in the race always. So it's interesting. Like there's two different routes you can really go in the 800, and both are successful. It's just they're very different. So um, I found the photo of Yared and Chariot, by the way. I got it on my phone. Um, that's really, really, it's a tough call for sure.
Yeah, it
So
is. I think it's hard not seeing either the other side as well.
I know,
Just because
yeah.
Yared almost blocks Chariot.
Yeah. I mean, Chariot's head is clearly ahead first, but I don't know. It's so hard to say. It's really hard to say. I wonder if, like, just the way Timothy Chariot, like, runs, like, his running, I mean, they both
He
dived,
al
but
Yeah.
he's got
And
weird
he
form.
almost leans forward, like,
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I wonder if that helped him out a bit in that situation. I don't know.
one thing one thing I heard, listen to City Smacks podcast, and they were talking about Chariot. They were talking, for now, I think it was for 10 years, he has broken, like, 333 in the 1500 or something crazy
Wow.
like that.
Gosh, I think he's like been on the scene for a while. Like I feel like he's had a couple like more down years because he was like the guy there. Like he kind of filled the spot after Asbel Kiprop got popped. If you remember
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
I feel like Timothy Chariot's kind of been like
Yes.
there was one guy like Elijah Manningoy or something like that. He was the guy for a bit, but yeah, Timothy Chariot. I mean, yeah. So his PR is 328 from 2021. He's only 30, so he's just been, like, really good from an early age, but he's still, I mean, in the prime of his career, he has 2, 3, 4 more years of top 1,500-meter running, I would think, so
Mhm.
maybe I don't know if he's changed his camp or what, but he's running well this year, so
Yeah, it looks like in 2016, he ran 331.
Dang, that's people when Jakob was running so well early on, people would ask like, and same with like Tadej Pogacar, like of in cycling, they're like, you're young, you've already had so much success. Like, are you going to like train or like run and train at this like super high level? Until like you age out of it.
Mm.
And I think like I want to say like Tadej Pogacar has been like I probably will like stop earlier than like I think he's suggested that he'll stop before he's like 40 or something, like he'll kind of stop like still maybe at the top. And I don't know, Jakob has I know they've asked him before and I forget exactly what he said, but it's an interesting question for sure. Like once you've already like won the tour several times or you've like, won Olympic gold at such an early age, it's like you've already reached the pinnacle of the sport, and it's like
Yeah. I think
there's it's tough. When we're running through Norton Commons or the Pewee Valley area in Louisville, Kentucky, it's pretty easy to spot Mason Construction Home. The attention to detail, the quality, the stunning design, you can't miss it. It stands out. We aren't just saying that either. Our own co host Scotty trusted Mason Construction to build his forever home, and he and his family couldn't be happier. Don't tell Scotty this, but we're at his house a lot because we love the home. He's alright too, though. If you live in the Louisville or Southern Indiana area and are thinking about building your forever home or doing a remodel, there is nobody else to trust with this project than Mason Construction. The link to their website is in our show notes. Click on the request information option and start the conversation about what your forever home could look like.
Yeah, I think what separates in like running versus like in cycling, obviously the tour is the pinnacle event.
Yeah.
But in running, I mean, you have the Olympics, but I mean, you have so many different events that a lot of times, like when you're aging, you're just moving up in
Yeah.
distance. And Jakob's like been known to say he wants he wants to
Marathon.
have a record at every distance,
Yeah.
or be the best at every distance. And so I think you see that Jakob's still running the 1500, but like I think everyone knows he wants to run the marathon at some point.
Yeah. What do you think when it's all said and done, Jakob's marathon PR is?
Um, it's hard to know. I mean, after his half, I think like you almost look at it like I mean, he DNF, but he went through 10K at an absolutely insane time.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think I would struggle to believe he's going to break 2 hours.
Yeah,
I
same.
know like other guys have, but it's hard for me to see Jakob doing that. I mean, I could see him running 202 to 204 probably.
That's what I was thinking, unless like there's another dramatic shift in nutrition or shoes. Then yeah, I would say 202, 204. Like he'll be a top guy, but I don't think he's gonna be like a total world beater like Sawe or anything. So
Yeah, I
he'll be
agree.
just like one of the top Europeans for sure. So that's what I think. Anyway, we can touch on Grand Prix, USATF Grand Prix a bit, and then go to NCAA's. I would say was kind of the highlight of the past weekend. There's some good stuff to talk about there. Uh, so yeah, we were talking like there was a men's 5K Saturday and then the men's 3K Sunday, and you said like the USATF Grand Prix was like day one, and then that kind of like B race was day two, or Cole Hocker in the 3K. And I think like maybe the biggest news story from this event was Parker Valby ran 14:39 in the 5K, won by over 20 seconds. She's looking really good. I'm hoping she can extend her time of health into years that like actually matter more,
Mm.
because like she's been injured and a lot of times that have mattered a lot, and now we have a non-world champs or Olympic year, and she's running amazing. And it's just like, I hope she can hold on to this next year. But she's definitely one of the top 5K, 10K kind of women in the US right now, I would say. So really impressive result. And I was someone in the camp that like maybe she should go to the roads, but now I'm questioning that thought process. So maybe she should stay on the track for a bit longer.
Yeah, I thought it was huge that I mean, she always runs like from the gun. She's gonna take it out and just do her own thing.
Yeah.
But I thought it was huge. She ran 14:39 with no help.
Yeah.
And did that in a race. I mean, Krista Schweizer was in that race.
Yeah. Destroyed her. Yeah.
She was non-factor. And Cole Hocker in his interview like talked about that it was a little bit hotter on the weekend, and so I think seeing her run 14:39 in what I mean, Cole is saying, look, was hotter conditions and then actually beating some names, not just winning by 20 seconds against no names. I think
Yeah.
a huge momentum shifts. I think after her last 5K and her, like when she PR'd in her season opener, I think she talked about just a complete change in coaching. Might have gone back to her college coach. I don't remember that for sure.
I
I know
think
she's training
she's
with Emma
was it
Coburn.
yeah, yeah, she's because I remember that first race she did well at. She, like, hugged Emma Coburn, and they were, like, crying after the race
Yeah,
because so they've been, like, training together in some capacity, but I don't know what capacity.
yeah, and so I don't know if she went back fully to her old college coach. I know she's not being coached by the New Balance Boston group,
No. It could be
anymore, and
Bouchard maybe, I don't know.
yeah, but,
So,
I mean, she's crushing it.
yeah, she's crushing it. Yeah, I I feel like I mean, I don't know if Graham Blanks still trains in Boston because I was about to, like, roast training in Boston for, like, because I remember when Jacob was training in Boston, like, post-college, I don't know. It's not, like, the perfect setup for a pro in Boston, like, Boston's an awesome city, obviously has, like, the great marathon, but if I'm, like, a pro, like, 5K, 10K, like, focused on the track kinda runner, like, I'm probably gonna wanna be in Boulder, Flagstaff, or, like, I don't know, like, Boston does have good places to run and stuff, but, you know, I just don't see it being, like, the ideal city for, like,
Yeah,
elite level training, so
especially in the winter, your winters are so bad, but Graham doesn't. He's been spent some time in Flagstaff,
yeah.
but he said he wanted to go train from in Athens, Georgia, just go home to where he's from and
Is
train
that
there.
where he trains?
Um, I whenever last podcast I listened to that he was talking about it, he said that was his plan was to spend majority of the year training Athens and then, do some altitude camps.
Dude, shout out. That's legendary. He's running great. He I think that was in Oslo too. Him, Grant Fisher, and the other guy that ran for UNC, Parker Wolf. They
Yeah,
all
Parker
broke
Wolf
250
closed so well.
or 12. They all broke 1250, and Parker Wolf topped both Grant Fisher and Blanks in that race, right?
Yeah.
So pretty, yeah. So I guess Athens, Georgia, the humidity of Athens, Georgia, is the hack for sub 1250. I think Grant's in Utah most of the time with like
Mm,
in the Provo area, or well, he has a house in Park City, I think.
yeah,
But I'll see him kind of in photos or like on some runs with like some of the people in like Mans Clayton Young kind of group. So,
yeah.
dude, Provo's the hot spot these days.
I think that'd be the fun spot to train.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, like, Flagstaff seems like the best because I think a lot of the Provo easy running is still done on, like, roads and stuff, but it is, like they do have it looks like some options for, like, off-road stuff, but, I mean, Flagstaff is unlimited dirt roads from what it
Mhm.
seems like, so and Boulder has good amount of dirt too, but I don't know, Flagstaff is it seems like situation-wise where you can get to, lower altitude pretty quickly too. It seems like that'd be my choice, but Provo is definitely, like, the group or the area that has, like, a lot of momentum right now for sure, so,
Yeah, and I
uh
think Provo's huge because of the community that they've, like, brought together.
yeah,
They just invite any runners to come out and just hop into their groups, and they have 50 people show up to Saturday long run. So I
yeah.
think that makes that special, whereas in Flagstaff, you it's a bunch of the pros all training together, but not like there's not like sub elites just hopping in with the pros all the time, and at least not anything that you see posted anywhere.
Yeah, no, I think the pros are probably pretty clicky in the other, like,
Yeah.
major cities. We actually, this guy ran he he set, like, the 50 plus US, record or something in the marathon at Bayshore. His name was, like, Ian Hunter, I think his name is, and he trains with the Provo group, and, I think I wanna say he's, like, some sort of, physiology, like, he does some work with them, like, out like, lab work with the runners, but anyway, he set the, American, like, 50 plus or, like, masters 50 plus record at Bayshore, like, 2:32, and I DM'd him to come on the pod, no response. I don't think he's, like, very active on his socials, so maybe he'll see it one day and come on the pod, but I thought it'd been a cool pod, because he'll go on runs with them and stuff with Connor Clayton, and, it's kinda funny, so, anyway, from the Grand Prix, besides that, Ethan Strand won the 1500 333. Josh Kerr had another solid 800-meter race, kind of indicating I think he's run 144 a couple times this year, which is I mean, yeah, 144, 800 speed is like pretty indicative that you're ready for pretty fast miles. So he's looking in great form. And I really like the route he's taking, like doing a couple 800s first before focusing on the mile and 15. And then, yeah, the men's 5K was the last thing I wanted to kind of point out. Abdi Hamid Nur kind of making his comeback. I think he was injured for a bit, won the 5K 13:07. There was a couple like Cooper Tier did bad, 13:18, way off the pace. He just switched up his training from Ben Thomas and Blacksburg. So I don't know what his situation is going to be like. I've heard he's been in Flagstaff, but I don't know if that means he's joining Mike Smith's team or what that's going to look like. But then Mohamed and Woody Kincaid, 13:10, 13:12. So 3 and 5 seconds off of the win. I think both of these guys should move up to the half and full before
Very.
it's all said and done. But it seems like they're really fighting against it for some reason. So, especially like, I think Mohamed would be an amazing marathoner, but he's in his late 30s now. So, I don't know. I don't know why they're still running 5Ks on the track. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, but maybe they're
Yeah,
just like,
I'd agree. I think I see Mohamed, I think, moving up a lot better than Woody Kincaid.
yes, yeah.
Woody Kincaid always threw me off because he is a good 10K runner. He's an Olympian, but he was always just off the pace and just could outkick everybody. Uh, but I don't think that's not a skill that I don't think I don't think it's a skill that helps you very much on the roads.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're off the pace, you're likely not going to catch somebody within the last 400 meters of a marathon.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know. I think if he's been able to put himself in good positions on the track and can still has that closing speed, for him, I think I would stay there. But um, I mean, I guess I don't know necessarily where he's trending, but
Yeah, and I will say, like, and yeah, I totally agree with you on Kincaid and Mohamed. I'm looking at his like kind of results from the past couple years. So in 2024, he ran 12:54 in the 5K, 26:53 in the 10K. He got, let's see, fourth place in the Olympic final in the 10K, 26:43. Wow, that's so don't remember the 10K final being that fast. So he's like, and that was just a couple years ago. So he's only 35. I mean, I guess there's like some logic to him still being on the track. He ran a 10 miler earlier this year, did pretty well. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to see him in a marathon. I agree with you. I think he'd be great in the marathon. And Canada's got Rory, and then they got Cam Levins, but like their number, like kind of 3, 4, 5 guys are more like 208 to 211 kind of range. So there is like a logical, in terms of making like world champs teams, Olympic teams, like there's a pretty logical third spot where if Mohamed just runs like 207 or even like 208, he'll probably be on team still for Team Canada in the marathon where I mean, he probably would still make teams in the 5K, 10K, but I think he'd be more competitive on the world stage maybe now in the I don't know, because if he runs 207, 206, is that more competitive than what he's doing on the track right now? Like, probably
yeah,
not. So
probably
I don't
pays
know.
more though.
Probably, yeah, that's the thing. It would pay more for sure. So I don't know, but I'm sure Nike takes care of him. He's been a Nike athlete for so long. So I wish there was like I wish all these pros contracts would be public. I'd be like so interested to see. Like I have an idea of what some of them make, but
Yeah.
like I bet Parker Valby makes crazy money.
Yeah,
Like I
well,
bet she
I think
makes a
the
ton.
rumors was that she signed one of the biggest contracts of, like, within pro running.
Yeah, they're getting hurt their return on her from marketing for sure. So I mean, she like does like I think she hosts a podcast and like she's pretty funny and yeah, I mean, I bet she makes 200 plus probably a year, honestly,
Mhm.
which is, yeah, that's a lot. Maybe even more though. So, anything else you wanted to like kind of double click or touch on from
D
that meet
did you see the men's steeplechase?
at the USATF Grand Prix?
Yeah,
No.
I was shocked more just by the results. It wasn't any times weren't anything crazy fast, but, your winner was Yassine Sato. Um,
Seen
I
Sato.
I looked him up, he ran at Virginia, but he ran 8:15, but in 3rd place, you had Duncan Hamilton, who I would have argued before that race could have been the top US steeplechaser. You had Kenneth Rooks all the way back in 7th, James Corrigan DNF'd.
Oh
But
gosh.
yeah, just shocked that like you had a newcomer on the scene and Sato beating what has been the USA's top guys in the men's steeplechase.
Yeah, the state of we need like someone to take the crown or like take over after Evan Jager. Like I feel like no, granted Kenneth Rooks, what he got silver at the Olympics, right?
Yeah,
So that was epic. So maybe that's like not a good way to go about saying it because that's a pretty good takeover for sure. Like second place in the Olympics, but like I guess like PR and like time wise, no one's come, you know, super close to what Jager was doing before. So I guess Rooks is like placed high enough at world championships, Olympics type stuff, but like just like the pace of Jager and like and regularly competing for wins on
yeah,
the Diamond League circuit and stuff. I don't think anyone's. I wouldn't call like what Rooks did a fluke because he's a great steepler, but he's very. I would say he's very up and down from what
I
his
agree.
results I see. Even when he does other like races, like I think he did a couple indoor, maybe like a 3K. Maybe he's done a 5K recently, and like, yeah, it's just like really like that's what he ran. So I don't know. Maybe he's been dealing with injuries or something. Kincomb's running store in the St. Matthews neighborhood of Louisville has a special place in my heart because that is where I worked in college and got to talk running all day before I had this podcast. I got to meet a lot of the local running community and learned a lot about running shoes. They are still the community hub for running locally, being just down the street from Louisville's most popular running spot, Seneca Park. If you are trying to get plugged into the community, make sure you check out Ken Combs Tuesday track nights where you can get some work in with other motivated individuals. I believe running stores are extremely important right now because people tend to just buy the coolest looking shoe and hope it works out for them. Go support a local business and have an expert help you select the right shoe for you so you can stay injury free. If you're not from Louisville, visit werunlou.com and use our discount code in the show notes to support an amazing local business.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that was one thing that made Jaeger special was he can compete in any style race, and you always expected him to be
Yeah.
in it. Whereas with Rooks, I mean, obviously getting silver at the Olympics is something crazy, but I mean, all the races that he's competed in, it's been almost like we were talking about with Woody Kincaid. He's not the race, and then he just had mustered up a crazy kick, and that's what Rooks did in the Olympics was he had a crazy last 400. Um,
Yeah.
but outside of there's just not been a lot of consistency that you've seen from him.
Yeah, so 2025 season best in the 3K steeple, 8:14. 2024 at the Olympics, he ran 8:06. So that's his PR, which is fast. That's 8:06 is very fast. And that was in the final. El won 8:06. So yeah, that's pretty legit. 8:06 in the final at the Olympics for second place. That's pretty quick. But yeah, I think yeah, it's the I guess the consistency. Like every time Evan Jager was on the start line, I was like, okay, he's gonna even though like he would run 13:0 in the 5K, like every time he lined up for a 5K too. So he was that guy for several years there. I miss that bouncy stride and the flowy hair. Oh yeah, dude, and the headband he used to wear too. The OG, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
But anyway, we'll talk NCAA's. NCAA's was like a really exciting meet, one of the best meets in the world at this point, but also kind of depressing too in some ways. That like, I don't know. I just like I don't know. We can talk about it when we get to like the 10Ks and stuff. But one thing I thought was like hilarious was Jacoby Tharp of Auburn broke the 110-meter hurdle world record in the prelims at the NCAA college championships. I'm like, dude, what? Like, how? I mean, it's not random. Like, he's great, but like in the prelims at the NCAA's, the world record and the 110 hurdles goes down. I wasn't anticipating that kind of headline. So that was like a pretty crazy way to start off day one of the NCAA champs meet.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely insane. I think that was one thing that I was just thinking about the entire time watching the meet was how fast the NCAA is, and I think that's one thing that just really I think sucks in terms of for the college kids in terms of like world athletics rankings is NCAA championships like doesn't really count for anything. The label on the I think it's like a class D meet.
Yes.
So their points. and their points don't really help their world athletics rankings. I think it's like that because there's not the same prize purse. I think part of the classification system is for prize purse, and so, but
Okay.
I mean, you watch it and you know that these runners are some of the best runners in the world. You're almost watching like a B level world championship.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. Yeah, for real. And I think, I mean, like, if you look at the time, there was like so many NCAA records broken too. So yeah, the levels going up, and I think it seems like, and again, we'll like touch on this more, especially in the distance events. But I'm sure it's in like all the events. You have like all of these like foreign athletes that are like 25, 26, 27. They're like freshmen or sophomores, and the NCAA is like fully international, which is great. But it's just like, yeah, like a lot of these, and what changed, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday on a run. So my coach my freshman year at Louisville was Joe Walker, and he was like great guy, like okay coach, but he was like really good at recruiting
Mhm.
Kenyans. He got fired because the team wasn't doing well, and he took a job. I think like the big so what happened was all of these like companies came up that do the international recruiting for you, and I think like the big one was like Scholar Book or
Color
something
book,
like that, and he's their Kenyan guy. So he goes
yeah,
to Kenya a few times a year. He's got connections over there, and yeah, he just like, and these like teams pay him to like bring talent over to their school. So and of course, he figures out like, what's their academic standing look like they have to like find the right people, and because they still have to make it work in school, someone they have to like be able to pass classes when they get to the US, of
yeah,
course. Um so
yeah. I
yeah,
worked.
so it's crazy. Yeah, go
As I
ahead.
say, I worked with them a little bit whenever I was at Campbellsville,
Yeah.
and how they operate. Like their business model is, you if you are like A level athlete, like going to be All American, or even probably even like All American or national champ, even at a smaller school level, um, you actually like the school would pay Scholar Book in order to get these athletes to be sent their way,
Mm.
and then Scholar Book would also then charge the B level athletes to recruit for like to help them find schools. So it's almost like a like having that income level from both streams. But what I mean, how that helped us at Campbellsville was Scholar Book would send us like a Kenyan that might be running 15:10,
Yeah.
that's not gonna make a splash at the NCAA level, but at the NAI level, that's, a pretty like, for a incoming freshman, that's a solid runner. But yeah, I mean, that Scholar Book has taken over, all international recruiting. I don't think
Yep.
it's I mean, I was able to recruit a handful of Kenyans, onto our program, and it helped our program, and it helped our team. Like Kenya, we had some Kenyan guys, French guys, German guys, very international. Like I had a good international basis, but I mean, I never stepped foot in those countries to recruit. Where I think in the past you had to
Yeah.
like go out and visit and reach out or have a lot of connections. And so, because of companies like Scholar Book, I think the entire landscape of collegiate track and field has changed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. Coaches used to like, I remember like Coach Walker would like go to Kenya and like, meet the athletes himself and do it. But then you're like Scholar Book happened, and now none of them have to do that. But like a lot of these top college programs, like they used to do that. The coaches, they used to go to Kenya in the off season, like, and try to recruit. Like they go to the track, watch workouts, ask people like, what's your school status like? What are your times and stuff. So yeah, the times have changed. It's a lot easier to get good foreign talent, and you'll see in all the distance results we'll talk about in a sec that it was very relevant this year. So after the 110 hurdles world record was broken in the prelims, the men's 10K was the big event on day one. Hatem Samuel won. No surprise there whatsoever. They said he was battling pretty fast time too, 27:51. They said he was battling a side stitch. And the only guy really that I thought could give him a run was Kiprito of Louisville, who got second. Elsingi Kipruto. And I think he's going to be the guy in the coming years once Hatem Samuel's done. But uh, yeah, so he got second. An interesting stat relevant to what we were just talking about. The first American was 10th place. This is the first time the NCAA outdoor track history that an American has not scored in the 10K. So the first one was William Zygarski of Butler, and he had a good post race interview with Let's Run, and he kind of just like said the last thing he said was like ethics is getting thrown out the window. So he was kind of unhappy with like I don't know, just the current state of the NCAA. So any thoughts on the men's 10K?
Yeah, and I mean, I think it was absolutely insane. I mean, I it was almost like Hopton Samuel, it was his race to lose.
For
I
sure.
know he had a little frustration because he was supposed to be working with people to help share the lead, and he sort of just did the whole thing. Um, but Zagarsky, one thing I did want to just note, he wasn't necessarily frustrated with the international window, but it was more of an
They
age thing.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's like 30-year-olds or and like that he's racing against, and so I think he was specific in saying he's like, I don't care if you're a 19-year-old Kenyan guy coming over here, like you're having to put in the
Yeah.
same work, but when you're
College
30
age,
years
yeah.
old, like your training age is so much higher. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. I
I
mean,
would encourage people to go watch the interview. It's a fun interview.
yeah, I think yeah, I need to get him on the pod, but I think y and that's a great point too, like, the NCAA has been international for a long time, like, the men's steeple record is still from a Kenyan athlete in, like, the 19, like, 80s, it's, like, 8:05,
World record
um
at the time.
yeah, world record at the time, I forgot oh my god, I'm blanking on his name, I was talking about him yesterday, but yeah, like, and he was, unbelievable. It was Henry Rono, I think.
Yeah,
Is that it?
yeah.
Yeah, and he set, like, a couple world records. I think he set the 5K world record in the NCAA too. And, yeah, so, like and, like, Legat was, in the NCAA too in, like, I guess, early 2000s, 90s, like, Meb Keflezighi, from Eritrea. Uh, he isn't obviously ran for Team USA, but Eritrean athlete at the time, and, like, yeah, so I don't know, the NCAA has a history of having foreign talent, but now the issue is, yeah, the age is, like, the big thing, and he's right, like, if you are a 18-year-old senior in high school, you're a great runner coming into the NCAA. Like, for example, like Tavon Kitchen, we'll talk about the men's 5K. He is really, really quick and like probably the future, at least one of the big names of the future of like the NCAA, like Americans in the NCAA distance scene. But like he got destroyed in the 5K. So, and it's just like, but he's 18 years old and he's racing all these, a lot of this international talent who has 5 or 6 years of mileage on their legs that he doesn't have. So
Mm.
it is like there needs to be like stronger lines of age, like maybe like 17 to like 24 or something, like would be like equal things out at least a bit. But if you're getting like 26, 27-year-old freshmen, like come on, man. Like this is just like I don't know. And that's like the women's 10K, which we can talk about next, was won by a 26-year-old freshman from Iowa State, Kerwa. She won, and I I mean I didn't even know of her going into this
I had
race.
not
Did
heard of
you?
her. No,
Yeah,
I hadn't heard it. She was a shock. I knew of Koskei, and I thought it was Hennigan's race to lose, but,
I did too.
um, I
Yeah,
think, yeah, having her I mean, but it's not shocking that you have some random international talent be able to come in and put together a good race,
yeah.
but, yeah, I'd not heard of her.
Yeah, she closed in 61.8, so that's really quick, in the 10K for sure, so a worthy winner for sure with that kinda close. It makes me wonder if, like, Hedingren should have, like I mean, they ran, like, decently fast, but, just if Hedingren goes, like I didn't watch the race, so maybe I need to look back, maybe she did do this, but I feel like if Jane Hedingren took, like, a longer approach, like, went out from, like, a K and started pushing the pace, maybe she did, again, I didn't, uh, like, watch the entire race or anything, but yeah, like maybe that would have been the right approach. But I was surprised to see, I mean, she got third in this race, which is still great. And my initial reaction was, like she's a freshman, like lack of experience, maybe like set her back. But then post race, after the 5K, I think she said she had a virus going into the race because she didn't even score on the 5K. She was like bedridden, so unfortunate timing for Jane. Do you think this is going to be her last NCAA meets, or do you think she's going to come back next year?
No, I think in the age of NIL, she's gonna come back.
Really?
She's
Okay.
in, like, the exact same setup. Like, if she goes pro, she's gonna be training on the exact same track. She's gonna be training with the exact same coach. She's gonna be
Yeah.
Nike's
Yeah.
pro athlete, with the Provo group. I would think that she could benefit from coming back. And just see, I mean, in any interview you listen to her, it seems like she absolutely loves the team atmosphere. And so if I'd put my money on it, she would come back, but it's hard to say that there's a wrong decision either way.
Yeah. 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 I think maybe if she like wins the 5K and the 10K, then it's like, okay, my stock's really high right now. Who knows if I get a stress fracture next year or something? And, all of a sudden my offer is like half what it is right now. Then like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe it makes sense to, if they give her, if she wins the 5K, 10K this year, Nike's like, we'll give you a 10-year contract. So like long-term deal, then it's like, okay, hard to say no to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she didn't score in the 5K. She got third in the 10K. Still has like pretty high stock, I would say, because she ran really fast this year and she's so young. But yeah, I think I agree with you. In the age of NIL, she's still getting plenty of money. She's clearly having fun with BYU. So yeah, why not come back and raise your stock even more next year by, I'm sure, dominating the NCAA next year. She's just going to keep leveling up as she ages. So um, anyway, we'll move on to the men's day of finals. So 2 days after the 10K. Uh, the one event that got a lot of media for good reason was the men's 1500. So Simeon Birnbaum was the favorite for sure, NCAA record holder in this event. And he is funny. He posted Instagram like a few days before NCAA's, and he had just signed like a deal, or I don't know if it was a new deal, but he's like sponsored by this bicarb company, and their whole like media thing, uh, or like the photos that they posted with him, he was like holding their bicarb, and then he was holding like a bunch of like guns, like he had and he did like a photo shoot with like him holding the bicarb and like a bunch of guns.
That's
It was kind of
I've not
funny.
seen that.
So did you said you saw that or you didn't see
No,
it?
I've not seen that.
Yeah, yeah. I think like there are some like kind of up and down comments about it, but let me see if I can find it and show it to the camera here. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it was kind of like crazy. So and it's a smaller brand. It's called like bicarb.shop, and their whole thing's like stop big bicarb. So they're like I guess it's like a lower priced uh bicarb, but yeah, like here's him and the I forgot what his other teammate is. Who's that other teammate? He was a really good high school runner too, another Oregon
Oh, I
guy.
know
But
exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know the name.
yeah, they just like took a little photo shoot with their guns and bicarb. I thought that was funny. So uh anyway, so yeah, he dominated the 1500, 336 over a second. The photo of like him about to finish and like the gap he had on the field. Yeah, I mean, he's that guy for sure. Like he is. I think he could be, Centrowitz, like, I don't know. That's dangerous to say, Centrowitz Hocker type territory, but he's really good. He's really good. Do you think like he does have potential to be a Hawker Centrowitz kind of guy, or do you think he's more potential in the 5K, or what's like your thoughts from
Yeah,
that?
I think he'll be I think his best potential is gonna be the 15. I think you saw him run. He broke the curse of I think there were 13 years in a row.
Really?
The collegiate record holder in the 1500 did not win the NCAA
Yeah.
championship. So he was able to break that. So I think you've seen him now be able to win a slow race and run fast times. Um,
Yeah.
I think it I don't really see him ever being a world champ, but also when you're at that stage, like I
Yeah.
mean, if you're in the race, you got a shot.
Yeah.
And I could see him being good enough to be in the race. I think
Yep.
he's shown he can close a fast 1500 in 50 seconds. And then that'll have you compete with the best runners in the world and the best country in the world in the 1500 right now being the US. It's going to be a hard team to make, but would not shock me to see him in there.
Thank you to Kalo for sponsoring the podcast. We now have a 10% off link in the show notes for you to try your own Kalo Current Smart Ring. Marathon training is simple. Train to your fitness level, go easy on easy days, and push hard on hard days, and never skip your long runs. How do you really know if you're getting the most out of it without a clear view of how your body's responding? That's where the Kalo Current Smart Ring comes in. Engineered by Kalo, the pioneer in silicone rings for hardworking, active lifestyles. I've been wearing my gold Kalo Current Slim Ring for about 6 months now during my training, and it gives me the clearest picture of my movement, vitality, and sleep compared to any other health tracking device I've tried. By focusing on these metrics, I can easily spot if I'm overtraining or nailing the right intensity for marathon prep. The app's sleek design turns all that data into something super digestible so I can tweak my training on the fly. Plus, for all the marathon moms out there, the Kalo app includes fertility tracking and stroller activities. Head to kalo.com, that's QALO.com to grab one. The Kalo Current Slim Ring is now available at walmart.com and at select Walmart stores. Yeah, I think he's definitely gonna make teams. Yeah, 2 I need to see more to say he could be like a Hawker type guy. Hawker is like yeah, he's top level, so I don't know, I could see him, like, being kinda 3rd guy behind Hawker and Nuguse for a couple years and then maybe getting to their level after that, but we'll see next year, like, world champs next year will be interesting. I wonder if he'll I think he's in the Bowerman Mile, so that'll be a pretty cool opportunity for him to do that against all the big pros. And then, yeah, I don't know what the rest of his season looks like. He's sponsored by like Diadora or something, like or a smaller brand like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, does he go run some Diamond League? Like, could he even get into Diamond League? Like, what's the rest of his season look like without a Worlds? Like, does he run USA's, which is in Eugene, I believe? So, yeah, I don't know what the rest of his year looks like, but yeah, really exciting American prospect to kind of look forward to. He's a confident guy for sure.
Yes.
Interviews, stuff like that. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't him like on podcast for a bit too. He's not like Marco Langen, like that guy is an exciting interview, but he's more like he's kind of more dry, but he's like very confident for sure. Like he is like I expected to win, like that kind of like stuff. I don't know. So he's a confident guy. He exudes, that Centro kind of confidence for sure.
Mhm.
So which you need to have in the 1500 to be successful. Like Josh Kurt, very confident guy. In that event, you got to kind of be like that to be successful at it. So
Yeah, I'd
same
agree.
with Jakob. So um anyway, quick men's 800, Solomon won 144. Uh I mean, dude's got insane range. He's
Yeah,
run
it is.
like what 1320 maybe in the 5K, maybe even under that. He was a sub 4 miler in high school.
He won the
Uh
3K
yeah.
indoor.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so like he's I don't know like is they under his ultimate event like as a pro and stuff? I don't think so. I think probably the 15 would maybe be his best, but like if you're going to win the NCAA title in the 800, like might as well do the 800. But I think like he maybe could have gave Birnbaum a run in the 1500. It's really hard to say. But yeah, I'm interested to see like what Salman's like ultimate event is as a pro because he's got options for sure.
Yeah.
He's legit. Kerwa of Louisville won. Jeffrey Kerwa won the 3K steeple of Louisville, and we had a Kenyan athlete, Collins Kipengok of UK in fourth. So we had two Kentucky school guys in the top four. I think Jeffrey Kerwa of U of L is the older of the two, like really good U of L Kenyans. I think he's like quite old, like 26 or 27. He ran sub 810 this year. I think he ran 808 before NCAA regionals at one of the California meets. And that was like the second fastest NCAA time all time behind the like
Andrew
1980s
Renault. Yeah.
805 Rono, which just goes to show like how absolutely filthy, disgusting Rono was. That dude was like, he was unbelievable. Uh, so yeah, shout out to the Kentucky Kenyans doing well. And then the men's 5K was interesting. I guess Rocky Hansen, I'm sure he had a 10K time, but I guess he decided to go all in on the 5K, right, of Wake Forest. And he's a great cross runner too, but Habtem Samuel wins the men's 5K, pulls off the double. Really impressive against, I mean, gosh, the 5K was 10K was stacked too with a lot of good East African talent, but the 5K had Marco
Many.
Langen, Kipruto came back from U of L, Rocky Hansen again. So like I honestly, if I'm gonna argue between the 2 races. I think the 5K was the more impressive win, and he did that after the 10K, so
Yeah, I'd agree.
pretty,
He looked
pretty
good doing it. Like, I mean,
great, yeah.
I don't think there was much. I mean, Rocky Hansen battled hard, but I think it from
Yeah.
the time Samuel made a move, it looked like it was his.
Yeah, and respect for Hansen to, like, only do the 5K. I think he was like, "I wanna go all in on one event," 'cause he probably coulda, scored in the 10K, I would think for sure, like, maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th kinda range, so maybe even 2nd in the 10K, so, yeah, I love the move to, like, go all in on the 5K, see what happens, but Hatem Samuel is yeah, he's gonna be a successful pro, I think, too. He's got good closing speed, he's got really good overall PRs too, so he's a
He's
guy
running
that
59.5.
yeah, 59, it's true, here in Houston, I forgot about that, so, yeah, he's gonna be a great pro, and he's, like, reasonable age, he's, like, 22 or 23, so he is, like, college age, guy, so I think, yeah, so he's got, like, a lot of, good years of running ahead of him, so
I
hopefully he
think he
stays on the
still has
track for
another
a bit.
year. I think he still has another year of eligibility too.
Yeah, Hampton Samuel and Rocky Hansen, so they're both coming back for cross at least. So, and I think that was your 1-2 from this past year, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
was.
Yes. So that'll be fun. And then yeah, Kipruto of U of L in third, and then I think Marco Langman was fourth, right?
Yeah.
Uh, he had his typical fiery post race interview, talking smack. He was like, "Give me a couple years, I'll be destroying these guys." So
I think one thing that
I.
was different that I took from Langen's interview, I think he was a little bit more at peace with, like, "I did what I could."
Yes, yeah,
He was talking smack in the future, but I think he also like, I didn't expect he almost, like, owned, like, "I was talking about this race all year, and, like, I didn't win." He almost, like, owned, the didn't, which, like, respect that if you're gonna talk it, then you gotta take it.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was he's a fun guy to listen to, and he's said he's ready to go with next level. He's gonna beat all the pros now, so.
Was he a senior this year?
Yes. He actually I think it was out of indoor eligibility, and that's or he was out of cross eligibility, and so that's why you
Okay.
didn't see him until indoor season.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, so I guess like I mean he's sponsored by Diodora too, I think. So I wonder if that's gonna be his move. I do worry like if you go on Marco Langen's Instagram, half of it is like training hard, racing, and then the other half is him at the bars at 3 a.m. So I do worry about that in his like pro career. I'm sure he's like pretty dialed overall. I don't want to question his because he's like he's very good, but yeah, I do like as he goes pro, he's definitely if he wants to reach that like top level, he's gonna have to like really lock in on like those one little 1% things. So that'll be like the difference maker, I think, in his career if like he's gonna be a top US guy or not is how dialed is he willing to get. So which I think I hope he does. So I
Mhm.
definitely want to see him on the scene for a while. A couple notable names, kind of back in the men's 5K, Jane Hedegren's brother, Isaac Hedengren, who is uh, overshadowed by his sister a lot, is actually an excellent runner himself. He got eighth place, scored for BYU. And then Tavon Kitchen, the superstar freshman, got 14th. Simeon Birnbaum DNF'd. I was curious to see what would happen after the 15. I mean, obviously you're at a bit of a deficit for sure, like doubling back same day from winning the 15. But I still think I thought he'd score at least still, but I guess the legs were bad. So
Yeah, I think in his
all good.
post-race interview, he said after he won the 15, he lined up for the 5K and it didn't feel like it was a championship race. He was just like
He
his
was
coach didn't want him to run the 5K, and he was like, "I'm gonna put myself in it." And then he said once he felt like he was out of once he felt like he wasn't going to score, just said, "Might as well save my legs for Environment Mile."
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's tough because like you win the 1500, you're on this massive high. You want to celebrate, and it's like, man, I got the 5K. And then you get to the 5K, it's like, dang, like I got all these, like, like I had Tim Samuel on like Marco Langen, Rocky Hansen, like all these guys to race against. And it's like, to race against those guys, you got to be like top of your game, like mentally fully in it. So it's tough, like same day, doubling back from a huge high to line up again and race the top guys in the NCAA in a different event. So fair enough. It's fair enough. Anyway, we'll run through the women's. real quick here and wrap the pod. So the women's day of finals was started off women's 3K steeple. Taylor Lavelle at BYU won in 9:21. That's a really quick time, I would say, for the NCAA women's steeple. I think kind of similar to the men, the 8 flat barrier for the men is kind of like 9 flat for the women. Like if you're sub 9 for women, you're like world class. So 9:20 is like pretty good. That's a kind of similar to like running 8:20 for the men. So yeah, pretty solid time. One of the big highlights of the meet was the women's 800. Sanu Jallo. I had to look her up. She represents Gambia internationally, and she was an Olympian for the in the 800 at the 2024 Paris Games. Ran 156 NCAA record. Very fast. It's like she shouldn't have been at this meet. She should have been at the Diamond Leagues over the last couple weeks competing for the win. So,
Well, I think what was
um,
crazy about the women's 800, not only just the winning time, but in the prelims, it took sub 2 to make the final.
yeah, yeah. Like if uh, I don't know, like that's gonna be like one of the top like 3 to 5, like 8, like the final is going to be one of like the top 3 to 5 women's 800 races of the year for sure. Like at all levels, I would have to think. So yeah,
And what
insane
wasn't it
stuff.
didn't Juliet Whittaker represent Team USA in last Olympics?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think she got 8th in this race.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Just goes to show, dude, NCAA is so good. Speaking of like maybe people that we thought could be favorites going into NCAA is Doris Lemongol in the women's 5K. And I remember, I think when we last talked with Jacob, you were saying you were excited about Lemongol versus Jane Heddingren in the 5K, and the race kind of like had a undramatic ending between those 2.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we didn't get what we wanted. So Doris won the race, if I'm correct, but she got
yeah.
DQ'd for stepping over the barrier twice, which I don't know. Dude, in a 5K, I'm like, she didn't to me, like that's not a competitive advantage. Like 2 steps over the barrier. I think that's ridiculous. So
Yeah, and no one knew. I watched the entire race. As soon as the 5K was over and, like, before they were interviewing anybody, I turned it off. I was like, "Oh, Doris Lungale won," and went to bed
yeah.
and woke up the next day and saw she was DQ'd. Like, there was nothing egregious about it that there was any sort of commentating on it or, um, anything. I've still not seen a video to even see, like, what actually was like, what happened, but,
Yeah.
yeah, it's wild. I mean,
I
she
feel
it was
bad
her
for her.
it was her race to win. Like, she won like, handily, like, it wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
that once she could close, like, she had the 2 New Mexico girls go with her, but, I mean, there was I don't know final times, but there was every bit of probably 5 seconds between them.
Yeah, yeah. So Marion Jepingetich of New Mexico on 15:13. Pretty quick time. Top 7 were East African. Jane Heddingren did not score. She ran 15:22. She ran what 14:50 low earlier this year, I think. So kind of a disappointing, underwhelming meet. Again, she said she was sick going into it, but I don't know. I wanted a bit. I, as an American distance running fan, this is like you said, like this is kind of like a mini kind of world championships now with all the international athletes here. So, part of you like obviously they're representing their schools, but part of me like does cheer for like the top Americans for sure,
Yeah.
and like kind of because like these are going to be the Americans that are representing us at the Worlds and Olympics in the years to come. So it's like you kind of have fun tracking them from this point of time until like their pro careers when they're wearing Team USA vests. So yeah, like I wanted Jane to at least get one title, but she'll have more to come, I'm sure, if she decides to stay in NCAA. So we'll see. But overall, great meets. Definitely like I think the international and age issues, or I don't know if issues is the right word, or the current state of the NCAA shined for sure at this NCAA meet. So and it was an amazing meet, great watch, high level competition, but I don't like, will anything change in the next couple years? I don't know. So one side, it's really fun seeing the competition. On the other side, it's like if I'm an 18-year-old high school kid that's like a really good distance runner, I am like mortified going into the NCAA
Yeah.
right now still.
But I mean, you're
So
seeing it in all sports.
yeah, 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 for sure. So yeah, true. I mean, gosh, I mean, yeah, in like the big money sports, it's even like crazier now with the transfer portal and stuff like that, basketball, football. Like, can you imagine every single year basketball and football coaches, like half of their roster decides to transfer because like nothing's stopping them from going into the portal. And then like, I mean, like, so, in the past it's like, okay, like most of our guys are going to stay and like we have them to rely on next year. Maybe we get a few transfers in, but like we're really going to focus on high school recruiting. But now it's like 2x recruiting. Like, be like, let's just like kill it on the portal. And then we also have to get some decent high school kids too. So it's just like, I can imagine the recruiting like scene is just like out of control. These big D1s and all the sports right now. So yeah, and we talked about that on the pod with Jacob too. Like the coaching NCAA, it's tough, man. It's a tough job for sure. So yeah, I thought about putting my name in the hat when the Bellarmine job opened. Did you do that, or did you put your
I
name in the
didn't
hat?
actually,
Oh, you
because
didn't. Okay.
yeah, I wasn't planning on leaving Campbellsville at the time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Campbellsville, you were crushing it at Campbellsville too. You guys had a lot of you were having a lot of success for sure.
Yeah.
Have they named the new coach over there yet for distance?
They ended up bringing in, or not bringing in, but they um, named the old head track coach. So we brought in a new head track coach, and then he was serving more as like a director of ops. And
Mm,
then he was the one that sort of helped coach throughout this year. And then that's who they've recently named as the head distance coach there. So
okay. Hmm. We'll see. Did you think about throwing your name in the hat again or no?
no, no. If it was in Lexington, I would have considered it. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's just
dude.
I
Gosh,
told them
I
I'd
would
write their summer training plans if they
if
paid me
they.
for it. I would write their plans. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. That's a good idea to throw that out there. I think I would love to see you at Bellarmine, man. I think you'd crush it at Bellarmine. So if you ever move to Louisville
yeah, it'd been a fun
one
school.
day, I think Bellarmine's. I mean, like when I was there, Coach Vargo, he was there forever. But like besides him, historically, it's been like a very short term kind of thing. So I would love to see you lead them into the D1 future for sure. I think like and I'm sure the new coach is great, but I think like you're really good at like building culture and recruiting local kids and stuff. And yeah, so it'd be fun to see you at the helm for sure. But
Yeah, it'd
you
be
know, a guy can dream.
yeah, for real. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, dude, anyway, thanks for coming on, man. Sorry I kept you for an hour five. I didn't think we'd go that long. So,
Yeah, no worries.
uh, it was fun. And grandma's this weekend. Make sure I'm gonna post this like ASAP. So if you're listening to this and you're tracking grandma's, make sure Corbin Harris is on your tracker for grandma's marathon. And maybe drop a Strava comment for him. Wish him good luck, or an Instagram. I'll put his Instagram in the show notes. Give him a follow. Wish him good luck on Instagram. How about that? So, but all right, Life and Shred podcast, episode 30 something. My first episode as a dad. Feels weird. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.